Surviving the party poker big game is one thing. To survive with a profit, quite another. But that's the challenge that's been taken on by some of the world's best players. There's no easy path to glory in the big game, a non-stop 48-hour poker fest. Some of the world's best players have traveled to Vienna, all in search of the magic formula that will enable them to leave with a healthy profit and the bragging rights, too.
Moseley, Trickett, and Laak had dominated the story of the big game for the last few hours, with the spotlight falling on each for a short spell before the game concentrated its attention on a fascinating heads-up battle. Moseley, the newest recruit to the game, was past his 10th hour at the table, and in that time had gone from strength to strength, helped in no small part by Laak's incomprehensible lapse in concentration on his 60K pot. Wow. Wow. Did Phil muck his hand?
60,000 euro mistake. Oh my God.
Huge for Moseley. This is going to just spin out.
The foundation was laid for success, and Moseley wasn't shy of capitalizing on it. The final twist came against Trickett and took him to within touching distance of the 100K mark.
A spade would be carnage, wouldn't it?
And here it is.
Oh my
a
gosh.
spade that doesn't pair the board. There's no way he can fold this here. This would be incredible. That's the end of Sam Trickett.
No surprise that Trickett was on the end of another losing hand. Despite the odd winning spell, luck just wasn't on his side. From that opening spell when he lost a vast amount to the point where he decided enough was enough. Amazingly, he returned and enjoyed a relatively good spell. He bet 25,000.
And Trickett.
He called him with the 210s.
Fantastic.
Although it wasn't long before he was back to familiar territory. When he left for a second time, he was nearly 30K down. The story for Phil Laak, the dominant man at this table, took a novel twist when the others opted for a break, giving Scott Baumstein the opportunity for a heads-up. Having spent a spell in the commentary booth, it was an excellent chance to put all that inside knowledge to use, which he did from the very start.
First one towards Baumstein.
He's lost them both.
Oh, you won them both.
He chipped away at Laak, but the reality was that Laak had a commanding lead in the profit stakes and never really looked remotely troubled. Baumstein left with 6K profit, but had just hinted at Laak's weaknesses.
There's so many places where Phil doesn't get value.
A more familiar look returned to the game with the return of Tony G, Ignat, Liviu, and Alec Torelli. Ignat had enjoyed a profitable spell earlier before suffering the indignity of being voted off. He now picked up where he had left off.
Tony realizing now how bad the card was on the turn.
Tony G found some respite via Alec Torelli, but generally speaking, it was a pretty frustrating session.
You're really only getting action from hands kind of like this, where Torelli's got a strong hand that's just a little worse than yours.
When Laak returned after a short break, the presence of the outright leader restored a sense of order at the table, but not for long.
He makes these bets so big. If you want to make a play at the pot, you really have to pull up your britches.
As the return of another familiar name threatened to shake things up once more.
Phil Laak was saying, you know, come and get me. You can come and get me for a little bit of revenge. He's been in here pretty much the entire time. Does that fatigue start to set in for a player like Phil?
He's probably used to it. I would have to imagine it doesn't affect his play that much. I mean, he's played for years. He's played much longer than I have. Probably isn't too big of a deal for him.
True, and he has that 115 hours, I think, is the record for the longest poker playing in the world, and he's done that. So this is probably nothing for him. That's it doesn't make him that much of a spot at the table. There's a lot of money at the table. You guys are playing deep. How does that change things?
It gives me a better chance to make all the money back.
Which is no bad thing. All right, well, good luck out there.
All right, thanks.
Okay, probably put me on Queen King or Queen Jack.
Jungleman's the kind of guy, let's face it, he's 22 years old. He's not we know he's played 20 million hands online, but he's not a live grinder. He doesn't know this lifestyle. So he did not go back to the hotel, get 4 hours of sleep, call to the game and come in. He actually turned his phone off. People have been calling him, Jungle, the game's on. I'm talking like 15 hours. You know, Jungle needs his sleep.
Yeah.
And Jungle gets his sleep. and everybody thought maybe Jungleman's leaving town. No one knew anything about him.
Nobody knew anything.
But he got his full sleep. I'll bet he got breakfast. I'll bet, you know, he did what he had to do.
He looks sharp. He looks really well rested.
And then he's like...
He's gonna kill him.
I mean, he's gonna kill him. He's gonna destroy them.
Kill him.
7 race.
Look at him. Look at him.
Yeah.
He's hungry.
I really
Jungleman.
think so.
He's hungry.
And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a massive test for Phil Laak.
Yep.
I mean,
if there's one guy that can set him off, that's Jungleman. It's not Tony G. It's not.
I really think so.
It can happen, like, and then if
Torelli opened this up.
also helps you psychologically.
1 call. 1 4.
Right? You put it down.
Phil Laak
as well.
called and Tony G 3-bet from the small blind, I believe. So we're 3 ways here for 1450.
That's a huge. Oh wow! I was gonna say that's a weird call by Torelli, and that's gonna be a lot of trouble for him actually.
I'm making cheap for you.
Why is Tony G let out for 1,000? Well, obviously he's got 3 jacks. This is like.
Still don't like that.
You just like to see him bet it.
Yeah.
What is he?
Bet it. Like
A long time to think
proper bet it.
Because Alec is now he's just
Now he's just gonna
suspicious.
call. Yeah, he's ultra suspicious. He's just gonna call.
It's like such a cheap bet that actually.
play Jack 6.
Do you have to just take advantage of the fact that you can look at the next card very cheap with the flush draw?
It's such an inducing bet. I mean, is Alex in position, right?
Uncomfortable now. Right, you know?
Is he? Yeah, he's in position.
Yeah, but Phil Laak's behind him.
Still, I mean, what do you do with a suspicious bet and a suspicious call? What are you gonna do if you're Phil Laak? Are you really gonna mess with him if you don't have a premium hand? I don't think so.
For 1,000, you'd be getting.
I mean,
like
no, he's calling, but he's not gonna blow up Torelli out of the pot.
It's just a huge price on the pot right now, isn't it?
Heavily and enjoy your
And now it's 7 of spades.
But just the way that Torelli is like, there's something weird here.
Now he's gonna bomb it.
We bet 6,000.
Yep.
No one raised.
That's
that
so
might be
wrong.
A good chance for me.
That's wrong.
I mean, I just wonder if you can actually just now pass this if you're Torelli.
Yes.
You know, if the
And
only
you
time.
got Phil behind.
Uh-oh. Apparently you can't pass it.
7 call.
Why?
It doesn't feel like we left the friendly department. Now we're in the I'm trying to hurt people.
Phil's 100% gonna pass here
But it's such a small
after this
close
speech.
I mean, if Phil was to call here, what would he be putting people on that he could beat?
Nah, I played too
No,
tight.
Yeah, Tony G's. I mean,
No, he's not.
when Tony bets 6,000 after being called by 2 people, is he ever messing?
No. I don't understand what the hell he's. I don't understand why Torelli is
I mean, I think Torelli's been given a gift here. If the bet's kind of big on the flop, you kind of think about you may have to make some plays sometimes.
He
and
should
stuff
be
like
betting
that,
it
right?
proper there. It's like,
Oh boy.
15.
and that's well played by G.
I got a nice two.
Check.
Still, I really don't like the bet sizing on the
Who
flop.
did you think was going to win?
And then on the
Torelli
turn.
bet 15,000 on the river. And that must have rattled him.
Yeah,
think was winning the flop?
Tony
Winning?
messed up the flop on the turn, but the river was definitely the way to do it because you're inducing every single spade that
See
misses.
how I made a
and
friendly play as well? Like, I didn't just like value bet the river.
You actually played it perfectly, Mr. Robert.
Which is what Starling is what he said.
But yeah, Torelli's going to think about that. I mean, obviously he had something in his mind. He put Tony in a different place, but I don't know. Do you ever recall Tony making just a massive bet like that in that kind of spot without having a hand?
never. I mean,
If you moved all
what's
in,
really wrong in the hand is the 1K bet on the flop that kind of gives it away.
7
That
call.
transitions to 6K on the turn.
Yep.
We raise 300.
Jungle versus.
Oops.
Raise
Just gotta play for the
1,200.
home viewer.
This is a home viewer. For sure.
It's a home viewer
Three call.
hand. I want to jungle up.
Heads up.
Tony's just like so excited that Jungleman is in the house.
There it
It's
is.
just he's loving it.
That's gin.
I mean, they still think, well, obviously Jungleman lost 60,000 in this game already, and they kind of think that they bother him, they can beat him.
Look at that face, but seriously, come on. Oh my God.
So, this pot got 3-bet by Jungleman.
Yep. The dance has started already. It's like, it was bound to happen now. Tony's
Buying the lucky card.
floating the gut shot, which is the best hand, by the way, but
Keeps firing.
he keeps firing.
He does.
He does. He does. Get ready for that because he really does.
Bluff the turn, and look what he's doing now.
And can you see the wheels turning in Jungleman's head? I'm 3-barreling. The bet is correct.
It's given. It's a
Cannot
given. You
call
cannot call.
with the lower parts of his range and on the river.
The HUD is just like beeping and blinking and all sorts of red and blue lights are turning on. It's like, it's bet shot.
Oh, you have no chance here.
I didn't even need that.
Thrilled to be joined now by Kara Scott. Kara, I'm sure you're like excited to get in here. You want to watch Jungleman as much as we do, right?
I saw him coming in. I had a little chat with him before he sat down at the table, and I could not wait to come and watch him play. Daniel actually said that he thought at times it was a better lineup for him. He said that, you know, this is all right, but there were times when it was better, so he's being cautiously optimistic.
Sounds very Jungleman there.
600.
And there he is.
7 re-raise.
Raises up with the king 5 off.
8,125.
And would you agree, Giovanni, that the one, I don't want to say weakness, but the one place where Daniel didn't seem to be 100% confident in his game was
Pre-flop.
Yeah, would you agree with
100%.
that?
It's just the part where maybe he needs to do a little more adjustment because mainly what he played online was heads up so much and dynamic and bet sizing changes a lot. And but again, when you're so good post flop, he is one of those guys. You know, before I said about Tony G, he's flatting a lot of really bad hands out of position against a guy like Ignat. You know, for as good as he is post flop, he's not. You know,
Jesus,
you won't overcome that.
This is so the Laak bomb. This is the cold 4-bet.
Wow.
And he's picked off the Torelli 3-bet, made the cold 4-bet, and yet
Torelli's got enough though. It's like the third time that Phil's doing that to him.
Yeah, and Torelli's read the blogs. We know that. We know he went over and looked at the hands. Does this feel to him
This
like
could be a click here.
Yeah.
I like a click here. 14, 15, still cheap. I mean, cheap.
This is actually like by far the best part of Torelli's game.
Yeah. Where Jungleman kind of lacks, Torelli excels. His pre-flop game is pretty sick.
And he's having a count up because obviously, what, the ace-9 is either the worst possible hand you want to turn over right now, or it's so far ahead of Phil Laak's range it's not funny.
I mean, if it's so far ahead though, you're not shoving for value just because Phil Laak is not calling.
But he's like 40,000 deep, so.
Oh, he shoves.
Yeah.
He just shoves.
Wow.
That's so
I
sick.
think it's 27. I think you got him. That's give up the idea.
I put it through the maximum test.
He won't count it because Phil is probably going to snap, fold.
It's an authentic
He's Holdem a little bit.
19, 21.
We'll just call
and turn the 10.
Yeah.
If I get involved, I'm turning the hand up.
25,
This hole not looking
26,
in front of
27, 28.
Are they, Kara, are they allowed phones on the table now?
You know, I think they are.
Yeah, that's been for
I'm
a
pretty
while.
sure
That
they are.
changes a lot.
Well, it's so they can check the updates.
Exactly.
They've been doing that for, about 24 hours.
Yeah,
Can you
I'm
just charge my
pretty
phone?
sure that that's fine.
Charge my phone. Do telephone ka
I mean, when Phil sees this hand,
1-4.
Didn't have it.
Show the
Right?
6.
that should change
but,
things.
and when Torelli does, but
That's
you
what
know,
I'm saying, it's
Torelli,
better, like, you
who's
don't know. No one knows.
let's face it, his river play has not been superior, but pre-flop, like that's the second 5-bet he's made since he stopped back.
Spot on both times.
Yeah.
30 minutes.
So is this where Phil has to start to adjust? Because he probably hasn't had to before with his hammer.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're right. And every time he did it, either he's a genius that just have a super powered sense of when doing that with the 8 high. It just worked every time. So yeah, I think now he's gonna have to adjust a little bit.
I think Phil has kind of just come in here like thinking about himself, you know, what I've been doing. But obviously, these guys, a bunch of them have had to sleep and had a big think about Phil. You know what I mean? Like, because if you didn't have a big think about Phil, why would you come back to this game?
You would not.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
because I mean, that's the main target. That's half of the money on the table is right there. And just for that simple fact, let alone the fact that Phil is just crushing it and has been so far.
7-4.
I still want to see Jungleman get up with $500,000. That's not even on the table.
I do too.
I still do want that.
3 raise. 1,000.
Yeah, Daniel said he actually didn't go and read as much of the blogs as he kind of in the interview said, you know, maybe I should have done that actually. Now that I think about it, maybe I should have. So he said he might check it at the table.
He doesn't care.
No,
that's so Jungleman. That's just precious what you just said. It's just confirming our.
He likes to do, you know, you can't download these hands into your Holdem manager. It's just it's very awkward.
So it's useless.
3 players.
Wait a second. Now here, Tony free bets the 10 and it goes flat.
It does, yeah.
With the queens by Jungleman. Ouch. It's gonna bring a little bit of pain.
3 check.
Sorry, who made the 3 bet?
Tony, and Jungleman just flats with the queens.
5 bet. 3,000.
Wow, what a flop.
Yeah, that's gonna be painful.
1-4.
Tony should definitely play it fast here.
3 raise. 13.
Yeah. Wow, that's a little super fast.
Now, what? It's a very drawy board.
Yep.
But he's got the 2 queens. So
he's so good.
Oh
He's
my
just
God.
so good. He didn't even think about
Oh my
it.
gosh.
He's just so good. It's sick, and he's like frustrated. He's pissed, but he just knows. Where's the air? There's no air. There's no air.
King Jack.
That's great.
King Jack offsuit?
No. I'm just saying that's what ran out.
But like I'm showing to the home viewer that anyone can play. You can play every hand and you can be in front. Like, I'm proving it. Like, it should be impossible, but somehow I do it.
Small bet.
Right? Like, it should be impossible, you know that.
Yeah.
everybody has had a massage. Jungleman even had one for like 20 hours.
Yeah.
But Tony just stepped it up. That's what I'm saying. I mean, look at that. Look at the picture. I mean, are you going to be surprised if someone is there's a third lady over there peeling grapes?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
It would not surprise me.
You know.
He's gonna have, someone on each arm. He's gonna.
Yes.
When Tony G sits down at a table, you cannot miss him. That is for sure.
Yeah, he makes himself heard.
Yeah.
What has he just asked for? Ice and lots of it?
This is the home viewer's card.
3-card, 5-4.
So Jungleman opened this up, and Phil's 3-bet, Tony's called, and now it's back on Daniel.
Don't do it because it kills the action.
For the viewers, mate. For the viewers. They want to see
That's why I like. You don't get.
3,000.
Jungleman didn't top up to the max, so he's playing good 30k now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got 25 behind.
Can you pull an 11?
Yeah.
There shouldn't be much happening, except the fact that Tony's in the pot and he might flat this. Even though it's kind of bad.
But Phil's on the button.
Call.
Wow.
He's called.
Wow. And you know why he called?
No.
Because Tony's behind and now he's going to call for sure. There you go.
Can't just call now.
Yep. I have to call now.
This pot's going to be
It's big.
huge.
This
It's
is like
big.
a good game now, I would say.
Jungleman's only got like double pot back, so
3 players.
oh boy. Oh, we're going to see someone
check.
stacked off here.
It's nice to be Phil.
We are going to see someone stacked off.
Yep. Jeez.
We might actually see Jungleman's temper.
Yeah.
We actually may see Jungleman's temper.
This is kind of unfair for Jungleman right here.
Look at. Did you see Phil? He's not even. Where is he looking? Is he? I think Laak was looking like. Oh, he's looking at Jungleman.
6 check.
Oh boy.
1 bet.
And Laak bombed it. Laak bombed it.
16,000.
Yeah.
6
He's over bet the pot.
One
Wow,
call.
that's pretty sick. That's pretty. Oh wow.
That's so ridiculous.
What are you doing? Oh my God.
He's trying
That's disgusting.
defend for the viewers, you know?
That is disgusting. I
twice?
mean, I've got Queen Jack. Like, that's legitimate.
Twice or once? He wasn't.
Well, by the way, I would normally do 2 4 times, except I got to try and catch his record. The only way I can do it is by running one. You know what
By
I'm
the
saying?
way, do you mind if I
I'm
get my
30K
card
behind
back?
his record, Daniel. Otherwise, I would run it 2 or 3 times. You know what I'm saying?
So bad as a
Oh no.
Queen Jack. Now the Jack comes.
I need a couple more outs.
For me, it would be good.
Jack and
If I
ace
was playing, right?
would do it for Jungleman. He kind
hold
of
on.
really do root for the.
Oh my God.
He almost did the
No.
I
twice.
was almost going to do it twice, but I was like, no, I got to get the record.
Let me just see what.
unbelievable. It's sick as cool.
Oh, the twice thing. Was
It is
sick.
a sick
Bring the
That was
vodka
a
Red Bull.
He's like, you know what?
Cool.
I might run it
it's
twice,
just
but then
fun.
the ace is coming. So I'm just
But
gonna run it
hey,
one
by
time.
the way, if there's no 9 out there, I'm still shoving it all in, so you don't have to worry too much. You get a shot later. You know, I'm not going anywhere. I've been here for 40 hours, and I'm going to be here for another 40, whatever.
Daniel Cates, Jungleman, rebuying for 30,000. Come on,
Sounds like
Daniel.
Queen
Come
Jack
on,
King.
Daniel.
I mean, you're both going to be all in anyway.
You know, this is a guy who's won millions.
Doesn't
The
matter.
money, the stakes, right? It's not
Doesn't
about
matter.
that
It doesn't
right
matter.
now.
It doesn't matter. Hey, you could be playing pennies at your Christmas game. You get beat on and beat on and beat on and beat on, and you're doing nothing wrong. It just, it's painful. You can see he worked a lot on himself to be composed right now, but
Play tight when you're ahead.
He can't believe it. He's like,
he's hurting.
he's thinking King 9. He's just thinking over and over again. You called with King 9.
And it is such a wrong
But it
flop.
is.
He's not that deep. He's got 30K. It's, you can advocate the play if he's got like 100 and some behind, because of these kind of spots are still pretty sick. But
I'm nervous
Phil,
about your,
look at
like,
Tony's.
being the champion. That's what I'm really nervous about.
Yeah.
juicy flop for Torelli, yeah.
7 check. 3 bet 1,000.
That's what
Tony's
the
got the
big
best hand, but
5 4.
if Alec plays it fast, it should be over pretty quick. How deep is Alec? 36?
Well,
he could play it fast.
Isn't there a lot of reasons just because it's such a scary
Yeah,
board?
yeah.
Like you play it fast because
Because you can easily represent the king queen here.
and you can't get like no one's gonna start sticking money in with anything but the king queen, right?
Pretty much, or,
Even if-
or a set, or. But this could be a good lead.
7 bet.
I like that.
2,600.
I like that a lot.
3 call.
Problem is Tony doesn't like you fold.
We get a king, we get a chop.
He just doesn't like chop. If you got a king, we gonna chop.
2,600.
Oh, if I just fear for Torelli bricking this river and then lumping money in and getting called.
7 check.
Yeah, I check.
3 check. Showdown, please.
He cannot know that that's another
No.
good barrel card. There's no way. So it is always a give up on the river.
I'm actually, yeah.
Queens and, what is it? Queens and jacks with an ace is a kicker, right? Is that what I'm playing, Phil?
Yeah.
Aces?
Aces with queens, no, and 10 and a kicker. It's too hard to figure out. All I know is if you have a king in there, you have a straight. That's what I know. It's not like Omaha where you gotta have the other card to match.
They've just
It's
realized,
jacks and tens with the ace
Just
kicker,
by-
actually. But
the two of them have just
I'm
realized
hard to
they
get
can
out.
put their
That's the
superpowers
turn,
together.
You
You know what I mean? They did. There's nobody between them on the end of the
did.
table.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
an ante.
He's got an ante?
He's a good
Yeah,
ante.
he gets a card.
He has to ante.
He doesn't have to post his blind, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have to post his blind.
Here, yep, thanks.
No, he can miss on his blind. That's what we did before.
But he has to ante.
Yeah, just ante. That's
I mean,
fair.
I tried, but
Where did he go?
This might not end well.
He's in the jungle somewhere.
They've decided that even though the Jungleman stepped away from the table, they're forcing him to pay his straddle and his blinds. Now, I mean, he's not going to care about the money, but
Still wrong.
This could end badly.
Yeah.
I mean,
You don't want to push the guy too hard.
I'm not really sure what the rules are exactly, but the guy's stuck 60 or 70,000.
You don't want to push the guy too hard.
And like Tony just said, he's paying. I'm sorry.
That's counterproductive. If they want him in the game, that's counterproductive.
I
for
just
them.
hope they don't tell him, because maybe he won't notice.
Yeah,
Everything can happen.
you're right.
Using everything.
But if he does notice, you know,
I'm really
maybe
latching on to these hands. I check.
could push him over the edge a little bit.
That is not a good
7
flop.
bets,
but I keep
500.
trying to catch up now.
3 call.
If I hit my card, I'm gonna bet. You're gonna
This is
need
kind
to
of an
get
action flop right
It's
here.
usually a fair thing to do.
Alex got a gut shot and flush draw.
There it is.
Top pair for Tony.
Nearly my card.
3 bet 1,200.
So Tony check raised the flop.
No, he's led the flop and led the turn, and because Alec's in position here.
I love the raise there by Torelli.
Quite brutal.
When you're not dead already, the guy has got so much
I'll lay
equity.
down a king.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's a really good raise.
qualify.
If you bluff
Show
me
the
out,
four,
good luck
Alec.
to you.
It's hard to beat you if I get to the river.
Well, that's like
What's the
showing the
river?
four.
What
Let's
is
see
it?
the river.
That was a good pick-off by Torelli, really.
Yep.
Okay, so listen to this. Tony G's record last year, I found out from Beju, was he won 150,450 pounds sterling profit.
See, this is
And
it.
using the
This is it.
XE.com
This is
models that we
so
have today at
beautiful. Do you know
mid-market
what he's
rate,
doing?
Yeah.
the
You know
conversion
what
would
he's
be
doing.
a little shad under 183,000. And if you'll notice, this is my buy-in. This is 183,000. And this is my profit beyond what you've done. But now, because I have the heart of a champion, I'm going to continue to gamble. And if I lose this and it trickles back into this stack, you can hold that award for one more year.
Phil Laak now 190,000 ahead.
He's good.
190,000, which has officially broken the record by about 7,000 for the big game. You can see Tony G's in profit. Wow, is Jungleman stuck already? Like 25,000 more than he was when he got
No,
here.
more than that. He was stuck 52 before, and now it's 86. So he lost 34K since he sat down, or something close to that.
But this was the whole point from the beginning. He's dividing up his things. He wants them to think he's in lockdown mode. So when he dips into the other stack, he has only do it with the nuts, which he never will.
Yes.
This is like.
He's so
Do you
good.
understand?
It's so ridiculous.
Do you
to be good at this.
understand?
Yes. This is super villain material right there. It's like he is a superhero. He is supernatural, and I love it.
But obviously, the
5 call.
big story right now is how is Daniel Cates going to react?
See, now look what I've done.
Number
With this
3
hand,
is
this is like an
600.
instructional video.
5 4 6
Now I
2,000.
can muck it with only a $200 investment.
1 4
So
3 call.
I might have called if I known you were going to call. I actually thought it was some sort of weird trap you were going to spring it.
Jungleman's put the 3-bet up here from the big blind and called by Tony G. And, you know, if you're Tony G, you don't know, really, do you? You don't know if the Jungleman is tilted
6 check.
or not. He had to check that to check raise, didn't he?
Check. Six check.
I wonder if he's check raising again.
Bet 3,000.
So much easier to do it on the turn, on the flop, isn't it?
He always knows the
6 7.
optimal line. You know?
Wow, he's put Tony in a tough spot.
All right, I call.
Oh, he picked it off!
Uh-oh.
Tony's
Not much.
picked this off!
Huh?
He knows it. He sees it.
Yeah.
You knew, huh? You knew he had the ace of hearts thing, and you knew a 10 was good. Wow, you guys are good.
Jungleman.
You guys are the best.
I mean,
Yeah,
if Tony G bets
Jungle
that
and Tony
flop,
2 times.
it's like a flip. This way,
Deal for twice.
Tony G 73%. Wow, he actually outdunked the Jungleman. I mean, he
Only 'cause I
really,
whacked you
really
where I'm rooting
did.
for a heart or an ace. That's okay. I root from one
I'm
time.
I'm gonna
good
run it
player,
twice.
Here it comes.
That's the bad one. You got to catch this one,
He
Jungle.
needs a heart or an ace. Or
That's a bad
don't
spot now, right? Because
know.
all you can do now is get your money back. That's the best. And
Yeah.
like you're only like at 23%.
It's not very. Oh, look at that! Jungle runs it twice like a wizard. Knows the number of times to run it.
That's the first card
For what
he's
it's worth,
caught.
if we'd run it once and I was in there, I would have won the whole kit and caboodle.
That's the first card he's caught tonight. First card he's caught in a while.
Let's test his ability to get money from the casino.
I don't think
and
nice
run it
is like
once.
remotely
You know?
like,
He's got his hand half over his face.
See what happens now? Now we're trying to tell Tony by reminding me you should have just done it once, you know?
it's nice to chop, I guess.
I did it
Nice
once
to-
with him twice and lost both. I did it twice and chopped.
That is terrible.
It's sort of nice.
It's sort of nice, he says. It was a good call. A Jungleman recognizes that. It was a good call.
Right.
You raise 300.
You got check, then you just put it in. That's it. I thought that was it.
6 fold.
Thought you had no choice, you know.
7 fold. Heads up.
Thought you had to do it. Like you can't just be folding on every hand.
7 check.
I think it's
Interesting flop here.
500.
Second pair and a backdoor for Torelli, and Tony G's got the up and down straight draw with the backdoor spades.
I mean, actually, if you think about the...
This is
Yeah.
unexpected.
But if you just think about the last hour and a half or so, Torelli's just had a little bit of a bead on Tony G.
Yep.
He's actually, it's like he's zoned in on him a little bit.
Seven check. 3 check.
He's got some hits, Tony. That's not one of them.
Tony could have took it away on the turn. He doesn't know that, but. And now.
Yeah, but when a guy's check raised you on the flop, I mean, it's really hard.
Yeah. I don't think that a bet.
No.
7 fold.
Snap fold. I mean, he is just beating the 8-9 there. Really. The 8-9, sometimes the 9-10, that's it.
Wow, wow, Torelli passed that?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I thought Torelli called.
No.
That's all he's beating, really?
Yeah.
He thinks he has an ace there. What?
An ace or tens, jacks that don't believe, or a random float that hit the king.
You have big blind, please.
Dominykas Karmazinas.
So the game is smaller?
Something like that.
He's going to make the game quite crazy, I have to say.
A lot of pre-flop game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
He looks like a Scandi. He felt like a Scandi. He probably plays like a Scandi.
Twice he got over about 20,000 in pre-flop with King Jack.
Wow. He is a Scandi.
It was only suited once.
And Jungleman seems to be refocused now. You can tell, again, the posture, rapidity of decisions. I think he's back in the game now. I wouldn't be surprised if he went for a top up.
Anyway? Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. Like you have to ask.
2 folds. It's like with everything that you order too. It's so weird.
Not if you go to the right. I know 1 or 2 people that are so key.
Yeah, there are.
I make eye contact with them, we get it done, and then.
Yeah, but it's like they're only here certain times, you know? Because we're
to
here
leave
all
the
the time,
table.
and
What are you moaning about? Really? What are they moaning about? Come on.
3 check. 7 check.
Tony's got a woman bending his pinky toes.
It's not a bad life, is it, Jesse?
Seat number 1, bet 400.
Come hop in the booth, Tony.
Raise.
until the game ends or I quit or whatever.
Hit 7 folds.
I'm not gonna
Wow, check out this raise by G.
Call.
What's this raise by G? 400 up to 1,100.
He's not representing anything there.
And so, what is he
Got
doing?
it with the ace. Like the ace is the
That's
bad
the ace and
card.
praise. I think Laak snaps him off here.
What is he?
The ace is kind of bad because now some stuff got there. But oh, he raises.
Of course he is.
He raises. That's so sweet. Just
So
in
he
case.
figured it out.
Just in case.
Wow.
Just, he
So
knows he's
tell
weak.
me, but what? How does he know that it doesn't represent anything?
What is he representing there, Jesse? I mean, a queen? No.
Straight, he said.
He's got the 4 blocker
Wow,
for
he
the
bombed
4-5.
it.
Yeah. I mean, it looks so bad from here. I don't know. To me, he's not representing much at all. Maybe a flush draw. And I think he's raising that river just in case Tony had a piece of it. Or, you know, maybe he even folds the ace there.
But I feel like I
had nearly 200,000 euros.
That's a lot. That's 20 stacks. And I still can't wrap my head around the fact that he didn't double check his card and lost a 70k pot just because of that. That's still so sick in my mind. It's just...
How could someone so smart be so stupid?
I have no idea. Because he's unaware. He's so zoned into the game. It's just like...
One call.
I don't know. I don't know. That is a big mistake, though. I mean, 70k. Come on. That's a lot of money. And here Torelli opens the 7-8 of spades. And we got a call from Laak again with a really big hand, the ace-jack clubs. Tony G follows up with another 300 call with the ace-3. Again, Tony G with the horrible hand. You know, just hands that have very bad reverse implied odds. Yes, you're on the button. Yes, it's multi-way, but what do you do when this happens? Just exactly this.
Yeah.
You pay your streets, and then you hate your life and then muck the river.
But you know, it's G. He's like...
3, bet 700.
I don't know. It's just not... I don't think he pays much attention to those sort of things, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
you qualified, huh?
And now the good thing is,
in position.
Yeah, he's in position, and Laak didn't show any initiative whatsoever. So it's gonna go check. Is it? No. Well, then it's gonna go check on the river.
1600. Call.
Doesn't feel good. Like you gotta have something.
One.
There's no way there could be a bet. There's no way.
Why
what
is he betting
bluffing?
this? Yeah. No, he thinks he's value betting, but he's never value betting. No, he made it less than half pot. He's not bluffing.
You're only value betting, right? You're never just...
See? I mean, it might work.
King, queen,
bluffing.
King jacking.
But Phil is so strong in this hand, in a way. It's like,
He's just bluffing.
Which means I'm supposed to probably just make it 28,000, but I don't have the heart.
You're probably gonna win the pot. Don't worry. Just pay the 3,300 and take it.
he took such a passive line. He's so underrepresented his hand. How is he just not snapping it?
You're gonna win the pot. I swear you're gonna win
He's
the
so
pot.
good at the tonguing, even if I'm not good. By the way, if I call and I do win, and it looks like a slow roll, please don't yell at me because I'm capable of...
Yeah, he's fishing for him for now. He is calling. Of course.
You're gonna win the
calling.
pot. I guarantee you're gonna win the pot. Like, I feel like you're gonna win the pot.
Wow. I thought Phil was going to fold.
Yeah, you got it. You got a nice?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
I don't know, I almost called. You kept saying it, guaranteed.
Phil Laak goes over the 200K mark in a quite remarkable performance in the big game. Tony G amongst those suffering, but still plenty of time for fortunes to rise and fall in the Party Poker Big Game 6. More to come after the break. This is the Party Poker Big Game, and in this 14-hour cash game, a tale of profit and loss has emerged, and with it, the fortunes and misfortunes of our cast. For some, the tide of winning hands has washed up their way. For others, they've been battling the currents of misfortune for too long. The Jungleman and Tony G, at the wrong end at the moment, but so much can change in such a short space of time.
6 fold. Fold. 7 fold. T1 raised 300.
Boy, this game has
picked
It
up.
picked up.
2 folds.
It definitely picked up.
So 3 raise, 1300. 5 folds.
Put it in, kid. I gotta see.
1 call.
This is how I test if I'm lucky or not.
Oh boy.
Again.
Oh
again,
boy.
Again.
Oh no.
Again.
Bet
Tony's
1000.
out of position.
Again.
Raise 3000 and call.
And Laak is so good. Like, this is usually a spot where he just
never
calls.
raises
He
there.
never raises
Check.
that.
Check.
3 check, 1 check.
Check.
3 check.
So let's see. If you had a set of aces, you'd be winning.
He's gonna check.
He might check. No, he can't check. Just make it 5. He's scared of the check raise by the G. The G does have the ace of diamonds, by the way, just in case he wants to turn his hand into a bluff. He's got the blocker for the nuts, let's say, so.
This is my tightest check of the night.
He's worried about the 8-10 or what?
Yeah, that's a bad check.
So nice.
I have an ace.
That's a really bad check.
2 pair.
You got 2 pair?
Yeah.
That's a really bad check.
I don't know. I felt like he had some kind of weird, hoping I was gonna hang myself hand. I don't know.
You can easily bet fold that just in
Jungle,
case,
was that
but
bad? But he called the check raise,
That was
right?
mandatory.
the bet was mandatory. Yeah, kind of think so.
Three raise.
Wow,
200.
Torelli's buried here. He sat back down, Torelli,
Yeah.
ahead, something like 17,000. Now he's down 26. Has he lost that much at this table? Wow.
Apparently so. It's pretty crazy. I mean,
yeah, he lost the big pot to Tony G.
1 fold. 2 folds. 3 call.
And this now 3-betting the G.
with the almighty queen 4 off.
Wow, I know Torelli's on the button, but is he spun out?
Check.
That's a pretty sweet flop when you free bet the queen 4 now, low pot control. Also kind of disguising his hand a little bit.
Oh, Alec, don't do it.
He's gonna stab at it.
Don't get spun out.
There it
Well,
is.
that's gonna
There it is.
happen now.
There it is. There it is.
But you can't exactly blame him. This is gonna
Not
this is
now.
gonna go
Not now.
wild.
You can't. This is gonna go nuts.
2,300.
23 now. Jungleman calls. Torelli might raise here. He's got such a huge draw. None of these guys should have a 3 in their hand. If he takes an aggressive line, like make it 8 now and bomb the river.
No, I'm just 'cause I'm tired.
He has to. He really, this is different, right? He has to bomb this. Wow, he's called?
All right.
If it comes a diamond anyway, he'll get Tony back.
There it is.
Wow.
A little bit of good luck here for Torelli.
Has Tony bet so big that
500.
How much did he make it?
6 fold.
3,500?
No, he's gonna raise this up. It's not beautiful to raise this up, but
He should make it like 7,000 or 8,000 and then fold for a shove.
like 10K and then fold to a shove. A little bigger just to make sure that the guy's not putting a move on you.
Right.
Yep.
13,000.
Yeah, exactly. Now, when the guy shoves on you, you're 100% beat. I like this raise a lot. Can Tony lay this down? I mean, pretty much now, the 8-eye flush draw is a bluff catcher right there.
10,000.
Thing is, Tony doesn't think hands that way. It's like the ace free hand where he value bets the river.
I don't know.
Flush. Call.
How big?
Yep, see? He cannot, he's
got a
not
flush too.
capable of doing that. I mean, he is. And the thing is, you know what? He made one of the sickest laydowns we've seen on the big game 6, Jesse, I believe, with the queens.
Yeah.
He opens, he gets free bet.
But it's Torelli, I guess. It's Torelli. It's Tiltorelli.
Find it.
But it's a freeway pot. The guy calls the turn and then bombs the river. I don't know. That is never a bluff with 17 behind.
It don't feel good to be Tony G right now.
Obviously, not when you check it to me.
Yeah, keep the massage going because he's ready to.
Well, I mean, listen, keep the massage going. How do you think she likes her 1% now? I mean,
you're right. Did she take the offer in the end?
I mean, I think it's about time to
cash it in.
We have to reevaluate our finances. I know she's.
It was a $700 tip, and now it's 280. Still pretty nice, so maybe it's time to cash it in.
No, it's barely an hour and a half at this stage.
True that. That's very true.
I mean,
they're getting hustled here. They're getting hustled here.
They're just getting.
Come on. Come on. Switch back to the hourly rate.
15, 25.
He doesn't lose the smile to G, though.
Yeah.
He's good sports.
Yeah.
3 folds. Fold.
Karmazinas again with the squeeze.
Yeah, I fold.
Fold. 6, 7.
What hand are they laughing about?
I think Phil calls
Oh
here,
no, it's
Phil is
someone that's photoshopped Tony G. It sounds like.
They really got a lot of time on their hands over there.
And see, the big difference between Laak and Tony in these cases is Laak only calls with these hands in position. Every single time he does this with, it's still trouble. I mean, this is still trouble.
Well, you can't not call Dominykas re-raise 3-bet when you've got a hand like that. I mean, he's just too wide, isn't he?
He's also 26 deep, and A7 at heart kind of has the whole flushy thing. It looks much prettier than A7 off. And see, now this is the difference also between
Tony G and Phil
Laak, because Laak is just good that way. He just spikes that way.
3,000.
Yeah, 3,000 is just about right. It's nice value.
11,000.
Oh,
Raise
jeez.
11,000.
Wow, what a
wow.
bet!
Raise.
1 or 2 times. I got 2 pair.
And no problem sticking.
Wow, did Laak was so quick there.
Snap.
How did he?
Wow.
How did he know he wasn't drawing dead? How did he know? He didn't know. He didn't know, did he?
Karmazinas kind of committed, but still.
This pot is huge.
That's a 56K pot.
This is huge.
Wow.
There's one.
Oh!
There's the one out.
He lost that.
Oh!
Laak lost that one.
Phil has a 7.
Oh! Did they?
They're running it twice, I
Yeah.
think.
He loses both.
Laak lose twice?
He lost both. He lose both!
Wow.
I knew it! That's so
He lost
sick!
both.
Wow!
That's it. He's just gone into the case money. He just went into the case money.
That's great.
See, I was ahead, so I tried to
good.
Well, I think Karmazinas just got even.
I think he's got 5K profit, Jess.
Oh, he is going to be so dangerous on a 60,000 euro stack. On Phil Laak's left,
And for Phil Laak, 183,000. That's the watermark.
Yep.
He's down.
Yep.
He is now below. There's no record now, Phil. This is all in play.
Yeah.
Phil Laak's invincibility takes another hit, this time from Dominykas Karmazinas. As the American attempts an incredible feat of endurance, the price to pay is all too apparent, not just to the viewer, but more crucially, to those around this table. The stage is now set for the next chapter in the Party Poker Big Game.